Good morning, everybody, and this is your DAX day trade setups for today. So, big question, is this a flag in a bull trend? So in other words, a bull flag. You can see a strong move up. Draw your lines along the top and bottom, you'll get your flag set up. And textbook stuff at the moment, we've come into a zone of support, which is right there. That is at 18,100, and bottom end of that is 18,043. My oscillators have grouped to the downside and are starting to cross. Clear buyers coming in here after some bad US data, but do have a crossover the moving averages here, but we are above the 150 EMA. So if you look at this on a higher time frame, a daily, no idea why we have all these levels in. Just tidy that up. So if you look at this on the daily, there is my support zone. Okay, look at my oscillators, they are separating. Strong bull trend at the moment, and this is pretty much over the last 2, 3, 4, 5 months basically. This is a really strong bull trend, and V reversals are very, very rare. So 9 times out of 10 you get another attempt higher, and then if that attempt fails you get a lower high, and then you start getting a bigger move to the downside. But for me at the moment, German data has been positive all year so far, and this is just a consolidation by the looks of things. Nothing really else to read into it. If you look at the weekly, we are extremely oversold, but again, this trend is massive to the upside. We haven't come back to test structure. You can see all these fractional highs here which we haven't tested, so that is a worry. But as I say, V reversals are rare. It is a big engulfing bar with follow through this week, but I don't think it's something that I want to short at the moment. So moving across to the lower time frames, that's what we want to be looking at. It's been rough the last 2 weeks, well, last week and this week, should we say. Big moves down, then consolidation, big move, consolidation, big move, just rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat. The only constant that we do have at the moment is that we are forming a series of lower highs and lower lows. Now, with that in mind, have a look at the oscillators at the moment. The 3 hour, we have a higher low forming, and price has formed a lower low. So obviously we need to break for this structure. We'd have to break above this bar for that to be validated, and that would set things into motion. But it's going to move this level a little bit higher. That's the strongest area, and that is 18,300. So that would validate this flag that's forming. That's on the 3 hour. But you take this divergence all the way from the close of last week, or going into the close of last week, to where we are today. Draw a line along the bottom, you see it's moving up. Draw a line on the bottom of the price here, you see it's moving down. So that is a classic flag setup. The only thing against us is the moving averages, which is all, well, we've broken below all 3 moving averages, and we have a crossover of the faster moving averages, but it is extremely volatile, being that we are above and below the moving averages as well. So fairly volatile flag that is forming, and here you can see on the hour even worse, not worse, I suppose even clearer diversion set up here. See low, lower low, low, higher low. Nothing really changes here. We need to get above the highs of yesterday, which is 18,300 basically. If you look left, that is the zone of support. That is the line in the sand. So once we're above that, then we can start looking for longs. So that's a setup we have on the hour. But let's just see if the 15-minute gives us anything that is different. So nothing really. Big move down. That was before the data, I think. was 12.30. No, that was with data. Okay, so we responded to the US data the same, but we had a bit of a stronger pullback before going sideways, whereas the S&P just hovered down the bottom here. Really difficult to try and second guess this at the moment. I'm just a little bit reluctant to take on the shorts. I'd rather wait for the setups to the upside, because if this flag breaks, the bigger picture when you look at the 8 hour is going to be a continuation of this bull trend to the upside. So that's what I would prefer to wait for, and there is no real level if you look at the 8 hour here which lines up with this diagonal trend. So in other words, what I'm looking for, if you're going to go short, you're going to be looking for a fractal somewhere in amongst here, which we're going to reject, which should line up with the diagonal for another leg lower. But this divergence here really concerns me. So I hate losing money, and that's basically what my rambling is boiling down to at the moment. So this would be the zone that I would look at from a short perspective. It's 18,222, 18,200. So 18,200 would be the area that I'd be paying attention to for a continuation to the downside. However, if you look at that on the 15-minute, you do start getting above the 150 EMA, which is a bit of a concern. But I think that would be the most logical one. Now, I would keep my position size very small to take another short up here. And the trend is down, so at the moment on the hour, so you should be looking to go with the trend. But with the diversions that you have in place on the higher time frames, I would be very cautious. In other words, very small positions to continue to the downside and very tight stop losses. If none of these levels hold, in other words, we keep breaking through them, not going to be looking for the longs until we get above the high of yesterday. Okay, so that's kind of my approach to this today. I'm going to be watching it with half an eye, to be honest. I don't really trust it. Either way, you could get a continuation of this flag for another move down to just strengthen the diversions, and then we wait for earnings season to really kick off, which is only going to be on Monday, or Tuesday actually. So yeah, that's kind of my outlook at the moment. I think be very cautious. If you have got time, watch, and if you got lots of time, pay attention to the 5-minute, because that is going to give you the early signals. You can see we've already got a bullish early signal here, but I do suspect it's going to be a case of reject one of these levels higher up, probably 18,200, reject that level for a second time, and then move to the downside. Your stop would need to be above the high of yesterday, and if you start breaking above the high of yesterday, then that's where your longs would start kicking in, and that's where you need to start looking for long structure. Hope it helps, and we'll catch up with you tomorrow morning. Cheers for now.